Howdy folks, John here. Welcome to another installment of how I'd rather not be spending my Saturday morning. Right in the middle of making my patented pizza dough for tonight's dinner, and the old stand mixer crapped out. This is what it's doing, or not doing. It'll catch, release, hear it grinding. Suspect the drive gear has been stripped out on it. Very common problem with these things, unfortunately. So if you too have got one and you want to know the process of repairing it, hopefully we'll be able to show you. See you down in the shop. Keep in mind there are several models of these and there are slight variations on them. This specific model is the Professional 550 HD. It's got the bowl lifting mechanism. It doesn't have the swing up head. So that will be probably a little bit different from some, but this will give you a basic idea. So step one to get into one of these rascals, remove the bezel screw on the back. It's just a Phillips, actually a Robertson would also work. And then this bezel will come off, like so. And then we've got 4 more screws, it looks like, to get the upper top half off. Now we can get the top off, hopefully. There we go. Just cast aluminum. It's heavy. So there we go. There's our motor. Control board. Uses a triac to throttle the motor speed with the slide switch. And then there's the accessory output on the front. And the whole gearbox is in this encased little enclosure here. 4 more Phillips screws to get those halves apart. Oh, this should just come off. And there we go. Ooh, yummy grease. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So there's the output gear, spinning this gear onto a worm, and then the worm following gear is what's buggered here. It's chewed right out. You know what? Look at this. This, oh, this is not nice stuff. This upper bushing has fallen out. It should be pressed into the top of the gear case here. So obviously this has got flex and movement in it. Very likely why that's stripped out. Can we get this out? There, now we can really look at it. Let me zoom in here, get grease all over the camera. Lens, totally worn down. That's the mechanical fuse sacrificial gear, and that's what has to be replaced. So we've got to get this bevel gear off. There's a snap ring right at the top. So use snap ring pliers to pry that ring apart. Lift it off. Now this gear should lift up. I need a screwdriver to get in there. There we go. So nothing wrong with it. Gonna have to clean it out though because there's metal shavings in it from that mechanical fuse gear. Now there's a little pin in here. I don't know if you can see that. You've got to slide that out. And now this worm following gear should come out, hopefully. It's on there pretty tight. Those teeth are sharp. There we go. Be careful, this thing will slide right down the bottom piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that little pin back in here to prevent the bottom, prevent this whole shaft and assembly from sliding out. Focus, you bugger. Ground right out. So it'd be interesting to know, again, this is a common failure on these. We'll look online when we're ordering one up. There's so many of them from various sources, both OE and aftermarket. But I'd like to know anyone else who's taken one of these things apart from a failed worm following gear, if your upper bushing had slid down as well. So increased play in there, and that might be why it took it out. Might just be coincidental on this unit. You'll notice there's a gear case gasket. You may or may not have to replace that. Just have a look at it. This one's still in good shape, so I'm not going to order a new one, but obviously going to have to order a new gear. And there's lots of grease in here, as you can see. So you're not going to need to get new grease probably. I'm just going to clean the bit of shrapnel grease out of here. You know, I'll get a Q-tip or something in there, scoop most of it out, just to get all those metal shavings out. And then, you know, we'll get some of that grease out of that top half to repack in there with the new gear. But everything else looks fine. Very important to clean the gears, of course, especially that worm gear. It was completely packed with contaminated grease. And for all the RC helicopter people out there, this is pretty cool. Little thrust bearing in there. So good idea to clean it out too, because it probably was packed with some metal shavings. Gonna get that upper gear box bushing in place right now. I'm gonna use Loctite 648, which is a bearing retaining compound. Just putting a bit on a Q-tip here, which I'm going to spread around the inside of that bushing insert in there. Try not to get any grease. I've cleaned that out. Don't want much in there, just a nice layer all the way around. So this bushing never comes out again, hopefully. Excuse my reach. I went in. I was just at a piss poor angle, but slid in no problem actually. Ordering the gear up here, as you can see, there is no shortage of them. Just on Amazon here, all of the parts for this thing. You can even get like full kits with the grease, the gasket, the gear, even the snap ring pliers. Practically giving them away. I'm probably going to order the actual factory Whirlpool KitchenAid stand mixer part. The part number is W11086780. But yeah, lots of options here. Go wild. Links will be below in the description if you want to check any out. So it's been just over a week. Our new worm following gear has come in. And installation is pretty much the reverse process. But just comparing the two, here's the old one. You can see how chewed down it is. Before, after. Or is this after? No. Before, after, right? Anyway. Yeah. Now, other than that, these things are built very well. I noticed there's a Hall effect sensor on here. So the circuit board knows how fast the motor's turning. So it obviously throttles up the power to the motor through the triac when it bogs down. Very cool design. Anywho, let's get this going again. But we're going to get some of this grease out. Grease up the new gear. And all the other crap that goes with it. Get our shaft lubed up. Getting this gear past the holes for that pin seems to be quite a job, so I'm just using a socket and I'm going to give it some love taps. There we go. Pin. Now, this grease is apparently food safe. That's why you kind of want to reuse it or get some new stuff. I don't know how important that is. You know, it's sealed in there pretty good. But do what you want. I'm going to reuse or just use the excess that's already up in the gear housing. This thing, as you can see, hopefully has got an indentation for both the pin and this little cammed top of the new worm following gear. So you just have to line that up properly when you fit it. There we go. Now this thing, again, you want to pack that thrust bearing. Oh, this should just drop in, I hope. Just gotta get those flanges in the upright position. There we go. Let's turn it on slow, see if it works. Ooh, better put that snap ring back on first. Watch it go snapping halfway across the shop. There we go, make sure it's in the groove, all looks good. Plug this beastie in. Oh, it's a messy job, my hands have never been so greasy. Okay, let's see what happens. Good stuff. I just want to put some grease on the top of here where that bushing is. Put some in the top of the bushing if I can. Ugh, this grease is miserable. It's the worst part of this whole job. Other than that, it's easy. One more test run. Good stuff. That's it, fixed. So not much to it. Grease is the worst part of the job, I think. So it's pizza making time now. Thanks for watching, folks. Happy repairs. We'll see you next time.